I don't even know how to explain what we just saw in NASCAR this weekend without getting chills. Seriously, this was one of those race weekends that reminds you exactly why you fell in love with this sport in the first place. Because in a matter of moments, we saw something that made you jump off the couch in pure shock, followed by a moment that hits you right in the chest emotionally. The craziest part is we have two completely different stories coming out of the same desert Tricone that is pure car control insanity, and another that is straight up heart, resilience, and a powerful family legacy. Welcome to NASCAR Track News. If you are a true fan like me who lives for the smell of spent fuel and the sound of 40 engines screaming at 9,000 RPM, you are in the right place. We are building a real community of hardcore fans here, and we are pushing hard toward our first major milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Every single one of you matters to this journey. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and join the crew. Let's break down the madness of Las Vegas. Let's get into the first story because I still can't believe what I watched on the broadcast. We are talking about one of the wildest saves of the season, maybe even one of those moments that lives in highlight reels for the next decade. Early in the Cup race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, pushed up the track into the marbles, and then everything just went sideways, literally. He made contact with Eric Jones, and instantly the #16 car snapped loose. At nearly 180 miles per hour, that is usually the end of your day. You see the back end step out, the smoke starts rolling off the tires, and you start bracing for a multi-car pileup. But SVG is built different. While he was sliding across multiple lanes of traffic, Chase Briscoe came flying through on the bottom. In a split second, Briscoe's car actually clipped the front of SVG's, and instead of causing a wreck, that contact acted like a reset button, helping straighten the car out. Now, some people will call that luck, but if you watch the onboard camera, you see SVG's hands moving like a lightning strike. That is elite-level car control and pure street racing instinct. The scary part, he kept going like nothing happened. However, the real talk version of this story is that the save was the only highlight of his day. After that heart-stopping moment, the car's balance was completely gone. He struggled for the rest of the afternoon, went multiple laps down, and finished way back in the pack. It's one of those brutal NASCAR days where you perform a miracle and still walk away with a broken stat line. But Vegas has a way of creating these drift kings. It took us all back to 2009, thinking about Jamie MC Murray in turn one. Tony Stewart hooked him, sending him into a massive slide, and MC Murray somehow drifted the entire corner without hitting a thing. SVG's save just earned a permanent spot in that same conversation. Even the safety truck drivers were getting in on the action this weekend, fishtailing a Ram truck down the front stretch during a caution. It makes you wonder if there's something about the tire fall off or the track surface at Vegas this year that's making these cars nearly impossible to handle. Now, let's pivot to the story that changed the energy in the entire garage, Denny Hamlin. To understand why this win was so massive, you have to look at what has been happening behind the scenes. Last fall, Hamlin got his 60th career win right here in Vegas and dedicated it to his father. But the offseason wasn't about celebrations, it was about tragedy. Hamlin lost his father in a devastating house fire loss that is way bigger than any trophy or points lead. He admitted to the media that it took him weeks to even want to be near a race car again. But Sunday happened. And not only did he show up, but he reminded everyone why he's a future Hall of Famer. This was his 61st career victory and his first of the 2026 season, but the road to that checkered flag was a mess of mistakes and recovery. Joe Gibbs Racing was dominating early. Christopher Bell was on a rail, slicing through traffic and even lapping up to 21st place in Stage 1. It looked like a blowout. But then Stage 2 flipped the script. Both Ty Gibbs and Denny Hamlin got caught speeding on pit road. In modern NASCAR, with the next-gen car being so aero-dependent, a speeding penalty is usually a death sentence. You lose your track position, you get buried in dirty air, and your day is usually over. But Hamlin didn't fold. While Hendrick Motorsports' Larson, Elliott, and Byron were fighting a three-wide war that had fans holding their breath, Hamlin was quietly picking people off one by one. Kyle Busch hit the wall trying to stay on the lead lap and even got into a heated bump with Larson later on. Tensions were boiling over, and we saw penalties and flat tires for guys like Todd Gilliland and Josh Berry. The field was in chaos. Then came the final stage. This is where the veteran experience paid off. After a natural caution caused by Connor Zilisch spinning out, the pit strategy went into overdrive. Christopher Bell won the race off pit road because he had that coveted #1 pit box, but on the restart, Hamlin just outdrove him. He took the lead and stayed there, even with Chase Elliott breathing down his neck in the final laps. At the finish line, it was Hamlin, then Elliott, then William Byron, but the drama didn't end with the checkered flag. We saw a massive post-race confrontation between Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain. These two have a history as former teammates, and it's clear that whatever happened on the track isn't settled yet. The garage is buzzing about whether NASCAR will step in with fines, but for now, the headlines are all about the #11 car. The latest news coming out of the Vegas weekend is that several teams are questioning the tire wear patterns. We saw more tire-related issues this weekend than we've seen in a long time. Some crew chiefs are whispering that the new Goodyear compound is too sensitive to heat, which might explain why so many cars were snapping loose like SVG's did. As we look toward the next race, the question is, can Hamlin keep this momentum? He's now locked into the playoffs, which takes a massive weight off his shoulders. And for the rest of the field, they have to be looking at that #11 team with a bit of fear. A focused Denny Hamlin with nothing to lose is the most dangerous driver on the circuit. At the end of the day, this Vegas race will be remembered for the duality of the sport. We saw a save that reminded us how insanely talented these drivers are when everything goes wrong in a split second. And we saw a win that reminds us NASCAR isn't just about machines. It's about people. It's about family. It's about getting knocked down by life and finding a way to climb back into that seat and win anyway. I want to hear from you. Which moment hit you harder? Was it that physics-defying save by Shane Van Gisbergen, or was it the emotional return to victory lane for Denny Hamlin? Drop a comment below. I read every single one of them. If you enjoyed this deep dive, do us a huge favor. Like the video and share it with a friend. We are NASCAR Track News, and we are chasing that 1,000 subscriber goal. We want you in this crew for the long haul. Thanks for watching. Keep the rubber side down, and I'll see you at the next green flag.